Welcome, 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 everybody. We are This Xbox Life, and this is episode 425 Return of Mordor. I am one of your hosts, Brian BJ Swick 33, and with me right now is Mark, also known as Wingman 709.
Good evening, everybody.
And we'll have a middle or, during the show entrance of Presar, Rob, also known as Presar, here in a few. He is just running a little bit late, but we're going to get started so we're not up until after midnight. We stream live on Twitch every Sunday, usually around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on thisxboxlife.com, or sorry, twitch.tv/thisxboxlife. Um, and I think that's it for announcements, and we're going to get into what we've been playing, and then actually mark what we've been playing and what we've been playing on, but we'll get there in a second.
Oh,
So, um, I'll go first, because mine's simple and quick. I played some Halo Wars 2. I played the some more campaign. I'm over halfway done. I think I have like 4 or 5 missions left. So, which is good. I want to complete that campaign. I did. I did play my first solo firefight of Blitz, and
oh, and
just got murdered. I mean, it didn't last. It didn't last all but 4 minutes because it's just like, oh yeah, next wave coming in. Oh yeah, next wave coming in. Oh yeah, next wave coming in. We know you can only have 4 units on the board right now, but you know what? We're gonna send 500 at you, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't understand how you're supposed to do anything in that.
yep.
So,
I don't
um,
either.
I had thought I was having some sort of strategy, but nope, none at all. And that was on easy. So
Nope,
maybe I'm just missing something.
nope.
Um, but I am enjoying, I'm enjoying the campaign. So trying to get that done. Maybe I can play a little bit of Mass Effect before another game comes out. But I was looking at the calendar. When does Wildlands come out?
Uh, Not this coming week, but the following week. So
Yeah.
you've
So
got 1 week
yeah.
to get Mass Effect 3 and Halo Wars 2 done.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, it's and I mean that I'm in the middle of trying to sell my home and purchase another home, and my daughter is in a play. She has a kind of an important part in the play, and they're in their last tech week before it starts, and then there's 2 weeks of shows, and
Yep.
but basketball's over. My son played his last high school basketball game in his career, so because he's a senior, it's actually his last high school sport event. So that was sad. It's been a long time. I mean, he's been playing sports since third grade, so and we've been with him every year. So, but yeah, Halo Wars 2. That's pretty much all I played. But yeah, I got to get all the other stuff done. But what do you got?
I also played a little Halo Wars 2. Um, I've been having a hard time playing it because I've just really like Sniper Elite 4.
Mhm.
Uh, Pretty much played just about everything in the game that I can, and I want more of the game. So I think I'm going to go through. I might bump the difficulty level and see how well I fare, putting it on a harder difficulty level. But really, really enjoyed and am enjoying Sniper Elite 4. Also, I did get a chance to play a little Ghost Recon Wildlands, the open beta. And I apologize. I'm still under the weather, folks. So I'll try to mute as much as I can. I did play some Ghost Recon Wildlands with Carbide last night, I think it was. And I didn't get to see any of the new stuff yet because you start out in the same little area and I think you gotta pretty much do progress and do what you did in the tech test to get the next area open. Maybe I'm not 100% sure, but we just kind of we're doing some of the same stuff. So I have yet to see anything different. But I really don't like you, Bron. I don't want to dive into it a whole
Yeah.
lot. Um, and I didn't see anything change. The vehicles are still hard to fly and drive, and So I don't know if they're going to resolve that or not. Probably not at this point. But I'm excited for the game. I'm looking forward to it. I really like the guns.
Yeah.
Um, they're like the sniper rifle and the assault rifle that you start with are very gratifying. Like they both have a silencer on them, and when I take someone out, it has that little, you know, just a little silenced sound, and there's
Mm.
just a little bit of a recoil, and the guns are very accurate. It just feels very realistic. Like I feel like they did a really good job with the guns so far that I have played with. Really, and these are like the basics. So there's a whole bunch of parts and stuff that I'll be able to go and find and modify and enhance and improve them. But I really, it's one thing I said to Carbide last night. I really feel like the weapons are really good. So really looking forward to that game. I feel I'm going to spend a lot of time in Two Wildlands. So, but that is what I have played this week.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I re- you know, it's like I kind of I wanted to play, um, but I was just like, we were just talking about. It's like, oh, I got a week to finish Halo Wars 2 and maybe get some Mass Effect in, and before it does come out, and with everything else going on, it's like, I can wait. I'm good. So, but yeah,
Just tell your wife to deal with the house stuff. That you're busy. You gotta get some gaming in.
yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, I was, working on code. I was working on a website and stuff yesterday for a majority of the day when we weren't dealing with offers and all that stuff. But it's like all the way until about 10 o'clock at night, and I finally am like, you know what? I'm gonna play Halo Wars for a little bit. And soon as I started on the game, you messaged me, and I was saying hi, and all I heard from the other room was my wife going, "Are you playing a game?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, oh, "I figured we'd talk about all this house stuff that we need to talk about before tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." So it's like within 30 seconds of me just turning my Xbox on. So, which she was right though. I mean, we needed to talk about it because we had a meeting at 9:30 this morning and stuff. So it's been crazy. But all right.
Well, I didn't play Gears of War or Forza Horizon 3 this week, but I did boot them both up yesterday.
Really?
I did.
Why would you do that? It's like, were you testing something out or anything?
Well, I wanted to see what the hubbub was on HDR, and because I picked up a new TV yesterday,
Mm,
and I got a Samsung 65-inch KS8000, and this thing is smart TV. It's a 2160p 4K Ultra HD HDI. It just got it all, man. This thing, it's got everything except 3D, um, and it's beautiful television. So I was going through. I want to say thanks to the community and especially Christoph. I reached out to him because I know he deals with stuff. He's been on here in a show in the past talking about HDR and 4K and all that stuff and educating us. So I talked to him, and this was the TV he got. And I'm like, this is what this guy lives and breathes. I know it's going to be good, and he really likes it. And several other people in our community actually have bought this TV as well. And so a lot of people were giving me some tips. And Christoph sent me a link to watch a YouTube video of a guy with this television and going through the settings, explaining what you want to turn up and turn down and whatnot to make your picture look just as best as possible.
right. I'm wondering if Christoph, I know, like you were saying, like he knows a lot of the stuff about the TVs and stuff like that. I'm wondering if he dives into monitors and stuff like that, because I'd be really curious to talk to him, not on about the TV side, but about the monitor side, like computer monitors and stuff. So if you're listening right now, hit
Mhm.
me up in some way. You can hit me on live or something, and Facebook or whatever, or Twitter. So, and because I got some questions for you. Let
All
me
right.
see if I can
Looks like we got a
get Rob in
third host
here.
wanting to join. But while you're pulling him in, I I was doing some stuff. So Carbide asked me when I was playing with him last night, like, can you really tell? Is it that big of a deal? Am I missing out on something? Yada yada yada. And I was like, well, no. I mean, I've always had, um, I've never had this fancy of a TV and all that stuff. So I'm like, I don't really. If it's side by side, then you can tell a difference. But like without it, it's not stuff that's like doesn't necessarily make it look better. Like it doesn't. It's not like, oh wow, these visuals now look real. It's not that, but it's stuff like with certain games, like when you look at the sun. Okay, so that's why I kind of was trying to boot up Forza Horizon, but then it went into a night cycle. So just as I was trying to send that video to you and Rob, it was like the sun was setting, so I couldn't get what I was trying to show you. Oops, hold on.
He's all choked up.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, Rob, you sound actually like you're on professional equipment again. That's
Because I
it's
am.
strange. Let's just say you're lucky you are, because I was like, his stuff better be hooked up this time.
And I'm really amazed that it's working because
Yeah.
I was totally guessing where everything was plugged in.
Yeah.
but so like there's filters and stuff you can turn off and on, and it'll like if you look at certain scenes. So if you're standing like like in Watch Dogs is Watch Dogs 2 isn't an HDR enabled game, but this TV has HDR plus that you can turn on for games that don't have HDR so that you get those kind of HDR filters. And so in the this video I was watching, this guy went in and he was explaining like and he would flip it on and off and you could see it. And he was like, "Here, look at this part of the sky." And you could see like the clouds would look a little bit more detail or a little bit more realistic, but it's not anything like mind blowing. Like in my opinion, it's HDR. I think from what I have seen so far and what I'm learning about, really try kind of makes things a little bit more natural. Is almost
Realistic
the way it
or
kind of huh.
like realistic or something like that.
Well, it's like yeah, it's like with the sun. It's like the lighting looks more real, like you would expect if you were looking at the sun instead of like this visual representation of this big bright light in the sky. And there's different options that the TV does where you can change the warmth. And when I did it like makes like when you are in a tropical setting and you turn these warmth filters on, it does make it look more realistic. Not so it kind of because then it'll adjust like the dimness or the brightness, so that it's not you still have the brightness, but you have more of a. I mean, I hate to say warmth because that's what it's called, but it does have a. It kind of puts a different filter on it to make it look kind of more like I don't know. It just makes it look different. It doesn't make it look more
More like a PlayStation.
realistic. I don't like to say realistic looking because it's not like it doesn't change your game to be like photorealistic or anything like that. Still is all going to look basically the same. It's just kind of the way the clouds will look. They'll look different. They might be white by natural, but then you put HDR on, and then maybe it'll look like oh now they look more like they might be storm clouds or it's just there's just a different. The sky will look a different shade of color you know, which is intended to be more of a realistic color. Um, but it's not anything like you're not really missing out. People like myself up until yesterday, I've never had anything like if I never had a 4K HDR, all this blah blah blah. And so no, you're not missing anything in the games. It's not going to impact or anything. Um, but what I do like is that now I think this is where it would impact you is so this guy I was watching was talking about, if you've got an HDR enabled game, make sure you turn off this HDR plus that that the Samsung has built into the TV because that you don't need that. It's like because that's fake HDR essentially. You don't want the OS of the television overriding the native HDR that's in the game. And it's nice is like the TV will tell you like when I start an HDR game, it actually pops up and says an HDR. I think it says HDR video is playing or something like that. So so I can just leave it, but I can also go in and turn the other option on. If it's not an HDR enabled game, I can turn that other feature on to kind of get those effects. But again, I think it's neat. It was neat to watch that video and kind of see, and watch it. And I was doing it on my TV and watching what would change. And sometimes I'm like, I kind of like the other way. And, there's different, you know, so it's just nice. I think it gives people an option um, with some of these fancier TVs if you really dig into the filters and stuff, you can really alter how the game looks. At one point, I actually thought Forza looked really bad. I was just like, oh, this doesn't look so good. But it was just, I was still messing with stuff and changing contrast and brightness and warmth and all these different things. Um, but I do like it. TV's amazing. Just and I was watching some 4K videos from YouTube on it, and it's pretty amazing. It's just so lifelike. It's pretty incredible. But that's the 4K piece. That's not the HDR. But yeah, it's I'm ready to go. I decided to get it now because I do plan to buy a $700 Scorpio in November.
$299.
$699.
I'm looking at your TV, and it's trying to see because you said KS 8000.
KS 8000.
Yeah, and for anybody out there, like the Samsung TVs must be like on this like on sale or something. Because I think every site I go to, it seems like you can get them for a really good price right now too.
Yeah, this one it says I bought mine at Best Buy. I get the rewards points. So I get a few extra bucks back, not a whole lot. I think I'll get $30 or something like that back. But this TV I got it for $16.99, brand new. That's what I bought it for this weekend. It is on sale for like $200 off. So, right. And this was a 2016 model, so I'm sure they've got the 2017 models out. So they're gonna push these things out the door.
Yeah, there's a KS 9000, but I'm looking at the specs between the two, and there's nothing different other than one has Wi-Fi direct, maybe built-in Wi-Fi. Yours has built-in Wi-Fi, right?
It does.
Okay, so it has Wi-Fi direct, and then the other one it has Supreme MR240 instead of just MR240. I think this is kind of what I was explaining to you yesterday is the 4K TVs, like Samsung has the SUHD, and I guess what it is they're all 120 hertz. But these ones can like do 240. I don't know if it's like natural 240 or whatever, but it's basically 240 hertz. It makes it look so much like less choppy and all that stuff, which is really good. It's kind of, I guess, what you want. It has the word Supreme and direct Wi-Fi. That is your difference between the KS 8000 and 9000, and they're actually the same price. So, and also the stand. I think the stands are different. Instead of the dual like Y-shaped stand. It's got like the one long bar, which I kind of like the Y. I like the KS 8000 stand.
Yeah, I'm used to the ones just being in the middle.
Yeah,
This one I was like, really on the ends like this? But
yeah.
when you got a TV this large, I had so this TV replaced my 60-inch Samsung.
Mhm.
My 60-inch was HD, but it wasn't 4K, it wasn't HDR.
Was
You
that
know,
that big TV? Is that the one
the what?
that used to be the one that used to be in your living room? That one?
No, that one I replaced was always in my office. That was my gaming TV.
Oh, okay.
I had a 65-inch Vizio that you told me to buy that is now up for sale. um,
Hmm.
So we're
I
having a giveaway.
I didn't like it. It's a 65 inch. It's the same thing. It's a 1080p HD. It doesn't have 4K or HDR, but and it was bigger. But I actually replaced. I put my 60-inch Samsung back in the family room and got rid of the 65-inch Vizio. The Samsung's got a better picture, even though their specs are the same. The picture quality is better on the Samsung. We've had problems with there's like a green bar at the bottom on the Vizio on some channels for some reason. Um, we've had issues with the remote. It's like you almost got to be standing like right on top of the TV to get the remote to work. And it's even with like our TiVo remotes that are universal, it's the same thing. It's like you got to almost walk it up too. So it's like infrared range sucks. And my daughter this morning and my oldest son both were like, Dad, thank you so much for changing it out. We could actually change the channel from the couch. It was awesome.
Nice.
I'm like, you're welcome. So I do have that Vizio. I'm gonna see if I can sell it to somebody. Um, but no, yeah, I mean it's nice. I love it. Sweet. I could recommend it. I was impressed. I'll tell you what. I should show you the remote. The remote. I pulled that thing out and I was like, what the heck is this, dude? There's like talk about minimalistic. The remote's got just a few buttons, and it's all like flushed with the thing, and it's real tiny and fits in your hand, and you can do everything with just your thumb, and it's a really nice remote. But the OS on the TV is amazing. Like soon as I turned it on, I was just like, wow, I'm in a whole different class of television. This
Yeah.
this is like a high end TV, and I'm so used to like the low end, TVs, and just when you just the OS itself and going through the menus was just like, yes, you just knew. It was like, wow, this is a huge step up, and it was just really nice. It recognized the Xbox One automatically. I didn't have to do anything. It knew, and the remote can control the. I found out by accident that the remote can control the Xbox One dashboard, which I thought was interesting. Um, and this thing also has, I didn't understand this. It's got a, what was it called? I got the box here. A One Connect. So this TV comes with a box
Oh yeah, I was
that
gonna
has
Oh,
tell
like
you to talk
four
about this.
USB drive,
yeah.
four not USB, four HDMI ports, and the cable jack, and then there's just one cable that runs into your TV, and that's it. So
Hmm.
if you did mount, you're looking for a TV you want to mount on the wall, this is something you want because then you have one cable. That's it. You're not running all these other cables because then you can put that box like in your, entertainment center or whatever that's below your TV where your Xbox and all that stuff, and they just hook right into that box. Um, and then yeah, and it's just a breeze. So really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
probably enough
yeah.
for my
Well,
television.
Stricken Thought was wondering if you've what 4K content. Is there a lot of 4K content? Did you try Netflix? Like I know when we were talking about it last night, we were trying to figure out a couple places where you could go to watch 4K content. Did you find any?
YouTube is the only place so far that I've found.
Okay.
Yes, I know Netflix has it. I'm not on that tier, so. Um, but I was looking. what's it called? Voodoo.
Voodoo. Yep.
Yeah. And it was interesting because Voodoo, I've always bought. That's kind of my choice for purchasing digital movies. I've gone with Voodoo, and they have HDX movies, and so I'm like, oh, this must be the 4K version. Well, it's not. I played the most recent Star Trek movie, um, and I was like, well, this doesn't look any different than it did before. And then I was doing a little more digging, and there is um, HDX is not their 4K version. That's just like their highest quality of HD. And I don't know how to get. I don't think they do it yet. They had a listing for um, for 4K, but I didn't find any of their new movies were in 4K yet. So, but I do. I know Imes from Horribly Awkward. He has got the exact same TV, and he streams. He watches 4K content on Netflix and YouTube all the time. So, but I do know there's a bunch out on Netflix.
All right.
Sorry to bore everybody with the TV talk.
Oh no, I wanted to know about it because it's just I haven't bought a TV in a very long time, so
I
I
definitely
think Mark
like
is blazing the trail.
yeah.
no. Our community members have been
No,
blazing
for
the trail.
us,
So,
for us,
for us, right?
us
So, like I
three.
said, Christoph and Imes, and I'll have to pull it up. I forgot who the other gentleman was. There was a couple other people that were in there talking, giving me some advice and comments about it from people who do actually have the TV themselves. And so there are some recommendations they made about, out of the box. There's you got to go turn this off, and some things that it doesn't do automatically that you're going to want to. That Digital Foundry, I guess, has done recommendations, and I don't know if they do it. I'm assuming they do it for all kinds of TVs. So if you do have a 4K HDR TV, you might want to just check with Digital Foundry or do a YouTube search for your TV and see if they've got an HDR setup. I saw a lot of videos this weekend that
All the
talked about
calibrated.
about how to
Yeah.
configure it. And
Yeah.
I guess Digital Foundry's gone through all these different types of TVs and talk about, hey, here's what you need to do. Because like there was something, I forgot what it was called. There's one setting that Digital Foundry says you need to turn it like all the way off, and it doesn't
Like-
do it automatically.
Like the eco modes and all that stuff.
It's let me look. It's called, because I'm on the thread now, and I remember somebody even made a comment about it. Your backlight. So you got to adjust the backlight 20, and so it doesn't do it by default. But once you go in and you make that change for that mode, then anytime like the HDR video comes on, it goes into that mode and it will have that backlight adjustment that you set. And it's nice because you can set them so you can have your game up. This is really cool too. You can have your game up and the menu overlays it, and you can make adjustments and you can see how it's affecting your game. So you can see what it's doing. So you can adjust everything to what you like, because everyone's going to be a little different. But definitely check on it, because it's not necessarily plug and play, so to speak. I would have never known to go turn some of these things off. I would have never known it was HDR plus. In fact, I was actually turning it on. I'm like, oh, this is off. Here's how I turn HDR on. And then I find out that's the very first thing in the video I watched. They're like, the number one mistake people make is turning this on. You need to turn it off, and he explains why. So if you do have all this, I would recommend, if you didn't go through anything like looking at videos and learning about it, do it, because you might get a little bit more enjoyment out of your TV, or find out that it can look better than what it even does now. So, but
yeah, because a lot of these televisions, especially when they come out of the box, they're really geared to be like overly bright
for display
because
right.
Yeah, because when they're in the stores and they're all lined up, the television that's actually the brightest in comparison to the rest is the one that seems like it has the best picture, but it might not be. So all these companies crank up all of the settings to kind of like be better than everybody else. But when you get that home, then you want to turn all that stuff off. Like Mark said, there's a bunch of websites where they have like people pay lots of money to get their televisions calibrated to get the truest colors and brightnesses and such, so the blacks aren't washed out and
Right.
all that stuff. So if you want the best possible picture, which I would think most people would, especially when you fork out a lot of money for a really nice TV, do a couple of tweaks, spend a couple of minutes Googling and change your settings, and then you'll get the best possible experience.
Yeah. When we did our Samsung, like we got some package from Best Buy where after you had so many hours on the TV, they came and they would hook up the stuff on it and adjust it and set it up for us. Actually, it was just a part of the whole process. But
Yeah, they come out with all these meters and
yeah,
they attach stuff to the TV, and then the guy goes and Googles that Digital Foundry and then sets it to those settings.
yeah, so very good.
I want to
And then
just
goes, thanks, $500 later.
I want to just say real quick the thanks to Fred, to John, to Brandon, as well as Chris and Sean. I appreciate you guys' comments and suggestions. So
Yeah.
a lot to it.
Let's move forward.
Oh, one of the other things I was mentioning, I forgot. So if you don't go through and do these proper settings and you make a mistake like I did initially by turning HDR plus on, then what that does is, especially on an HDR enabled game already, you're actually you're messing up the visuals by adding on an additional HDR filter, which you don't need. But that also is going to cause input lag. So, and the guy even shows it in the video. He's got his TV in the background, and he'll put his controller up, and you can watch, like when he'll set the stuff, and then you'll see him move, and you'll see like a 2 to 3 second delay before the character even moves on the screen, and then he goes and turns the one of the settings off, and then he moves, and it's like the character instantly like responds. Like so you can get. I was just like, wow, I never really thought of like input lag between me and the TV because of just what the TV itself is doing. So there's some things you can, maybe opt to not turn on because, it may not be the best look. It's still going to look great, but you want to have no lag, or maybe you're like, yeah, I'm okay with a little lag. I want it to look a little bit more natural. So, but anyways,
yep.
Enough of that.
Yep.
This TV life.
All right. So moving on, we're gonna hit our roundtable topics, or actually some news, because I don't think we actually have a roundtable topic for today. But thisxboxlife.com/Patreon is the way to get to our Patreon page if you'd like to become a patron of the show. Or thisxboxlife.com/donate will take you to our tips page where you can float a tip if you would like. Nothing's expected. Everything's appreciated. And if you're wondering where that good money goes, we just talked about it for 40 minutes by you guys bought Market TV. So, just kidding. All right. Roundtable. So, name of our show this week. Return of Mordor, and everybody knows Mark loved the first Shadow of Mordor, but
Yeah.
but it looks like if you guys didn't read this or whatever, I saw it and I've caught it a couple other articles over the weekend. It looks like a retailer leaked the next Shadow of Mordor game. So, and did they say who it was? Target. They're in trouble. Not really. Do not start playing the video. Do not start.
You better
playing.
be prepared to pause it 3 times.
Mute tab.
The sequel is going to be titled Shadow of War and may be released later this year. Supposedly on August 22nd.
Okay.
So pretty much, yeah. Like I told Cubicle in the chat, I've already pre-ordered it. It's gonna be my game of the year.
Is that why?
Not,
Is that why when he came in, he was like, "Oh, Mark is geeked."
yeah,
Well, that's funny.
yeah. He knows I'm real excited about this.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was like the biggest news of the entire week, wasn't it? That was possibly leaked.
Pretty much, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, good figure, right? The other thing now, I'm interested in this. Like, I played this game. You played this game, Mark. I know a ton.
Love this game.
Man, Rob, I didn't you play a lot of? Did you play a lot of Sunset
Uh,
Overdrive? Did you play any?
not a little bit.
Okay.
I started the beginning of it and then got distracted with something else, and I never went back to it.
Yeah, I played a good bit of it, and I know, of course, I didn't beat it, guys. Come on. Um, but actually, I still have it. I believe I might have just uninstalled it. I've had it installed for the longest time. I think I might have taken it off. I can't remember. Um, but so everybody excited for Insomniac to make another Sunset Overdrive, the sequel for it? Everybody's
Heck
excited
yeah,
for it, right? All
yeah.
right.
Woo!
Yeah, all right. Well, Mark, when are
Take
we
my
getting
money
it?
now.
Yeah, when are we getting it?
That's up to Microsoft.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe it'll be the Xbox 2 release title.
Maybe it's going to be a surprise Scorpio launch title. Yeah,
There you go.
I
So,
doubt that. No. So Ted Price was asked by Game Informer why there was no follow-up yet to the game, and he said, you have to ask Microsoft. We are passionate about the franchise and we own it. So we may see more Sunset in the future from us. No promises and no timeline to speak of, but it is something that represents our willingness to create unexpected experiences. And this isn't the first time Insomniac has looked to Microsoft when asked questions about the franchise. In September of last year, the developer said they'd like to bring it to the PC, but said at the time the ball's in Xbox's court on it.
yeah.
Seems like they're willing to do a Sunset Overdrive Part 2 or bring it to the PC or whatnot, but according to Insomniac, it is in Microsoft's court to decide what to do. Stinks.
Well, I mean, they've been doing a lot of good things. I mean, and bringing games and stuff. So maybe it's something that, you never know. E3's coming. So I know I know he's saying that. Oh, you'll have to ask Microsoft, but maybe he already knows and just can't say anything. So, you know, just
Yeah, I would think as much that Microsoft put into it. I mean, they even released a Sunset Overdrive console.
right.
That light. It was the first white Xbox One. So, and it is a console exclusive. I don't know how well it sold. I don't know if it did well, but it was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up the stats on that one.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. All right. Cool. Well, maybe we'll find out more about it in E3. So. Well, that was really the only two big things. The next topic I have is 4K TV talk. So, just kidding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, another slow week. I don't know what I mean. We've it's funny to say it's a slow week.
Ooh.
It's a slow week. But
Game did not sell well.
yeah, it was a launch title, wasn't it?
No,
Oh.
no, 2014. So this
Yoda 720
only
says hope they promote it this time. So they must not have promoted it hardly at all.
so globally sales. Where I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've looked at the site. How they list this 1.15, 1.1 million copies. I think this is million. So they broke the million, but I don't think that's. I don't know. That's not really a whole lot for an exclusive.
Right.
I mean, let's see. So what? Halo 5 was the last Halo game, right?
Well,
Halo
Halo
5
Wars 2.
Guardians. Um, Halo 5 Guardians was 4.68 million global, almost 3 million copies in North America.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's just looking at another franchise. They're a third of that, or almost a fifth of that. And then Gears of War 4. See what that did. Because again, these are all Xbox One exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War it's just under, it's 2.73 million. So, yeah, I don't know if they barely busted a million, whether they'll bother to put any money into the second one or not.
Is that just in North America that you're looking?
I'm looking at global numbers.
Okay. Does it? Okay. Does it strike you weird or that it's weird? Like, there's 50 million PS4 consoles, there's 25 million Xbox One consoles, and Halo 5 only sells 4 million.
Yeah,
Gears of War only sells what'd you say it was?
2.73.
2.7. Like, you know, it's like go look up a PlayStation, look up a PS4 game that just came out, or look up Uncharted or something like that.
Uncharted 4.
Just curious.
8.61 million.
So eight. Okay, so 50 million PS4s, 25 million Xboxes, 4 million for Halo, 8 million for Uncharted. Does that just like strike you weird? It's just weird. Is it just me?
I'm wondering too if this site probably only tracks retail.
Okay, then that would make more sense to me then, because I'm just like, that just doesn't sound right.
It seems awful.
Very low.
Oh
Very.
yeah, because I'm just like, man, I don't care if you sell it. Hey, let's talk about this console war. Well, we got 50 million consoles. Yeah, but you only sell 8 million games, copies of your best game ever. Or one of your best games ever. That's just crazy. So, but the same thing for Halo though too. It's like you got 25 million consoles and you only sold 4 million copies of Halo. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, according to these guys, there's PS4s at 54.8 million, Xbox One's 28.3 million.
Yeah.
The Wii U 13.8 million, 3DS is 63.7 million, Vita 15.3 million.
Yeah.
So
I just would think the numbers would be higher. But, all right. Well,
yeah, I'm really wondering if it just says by units sold, but I don't know if that is retail or these guys may not. I'm looking at VG charts. They may not be able to get the digital numbers.
right.
Because even what the NPDs don't count digital sales.
They're
Only
starting,
retail, and they're only in North America.
They're starting to. It's coming around.
Yeah.
All right. Moving onward, because Danny Ray Jr. wrote us a novel today. Just teasing with you. So we got to get.
Hey, real quick.
Yep.
There's a little bit of a news recap for the past week that I just wanted to go over real quick. Just some. Since we didn't have much in the roundtable, this just does a quick couple of shots to a couple of things that people might have missed. Mind if I go through that real quick?
Sure.
What?
All right.
It's not in the show notes. Thanks for putting it in there.
No.
So we knew you were going to do it.
I just ran across it. Okay, here, let me type it in the show notes. Is that good? Okay, wait 5 minutes while I type real slow.
Okay.
All right. So a couple of things. First off, looks like Scorpios might have a new design language called Motion. So from the coding standpoint, this is something that looks like might set the Scorpio apart from the regular Xboxes. So this is something that looks like was another thing that was leaked out on LinkedIn. So we'll have to see what more comes from this. Another quick thing here is there's a gaming site called Green Man Gaming that now sells Play Anywhere codes at a discount. So Play Anywhere codes are, of course, titles that you can play across both PC and for Xbox. But in one place, you get both of the games. However, if you want to play it on Xbox, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to buy the Xbox version first. So this is just something to think about moving forward. Because right now they have Halo Wars 2 at a $10 discount. So it's $49 as opposed to $59. Unfortunately, they don't have the super crazy ultimate premium version, which everybody really wants. Because that has season pass, and it has the definitive edition and something else, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to play it early, but it's out now, so that
Yeah. So I guess that part doesn't matter.
right.
So I guess this is food for thought moving forward, where if you see maybe the PC version on sale, you can always snag that instead of paying full price for the regular version for the Xbox. So that's kind of neat. Then moving on, Chris Charla, which is the director of the ID at Xbox program, sent out on Twitter that there are more than 1,000 ID at Xbox games being developed. So that's that probably means that there's probably 5 good games coming. Whoa, who said that? Who said that?
That was funny, Rob.
So yeah. So, but still, with 1,000 games coming, you figure there's going to be a fairly decent amount of good titles in there, and probably about 900 of those are pixel games, maybe. Who knows? So that's very cool news. Then also, analysts are basically saying that the Scorpio is probably going to rule the roost next year and the following year. In specific, a gentleman by the name of Michael Goodman from Strategy Analytics, Director of Digital Media Strategies. That's quite a title. He spoke recently about the Scorpio and Microsoft's place in the console market. He basically said that the console probably isn't going to make any huge advancements, at least in the first year of release. So it's probably going to be, because it's coming out December, November? Do we know yet?
We don't have a date yet.
This year,
but
this fall.
This year, yeah. Wow, I can't believe how quick that went.
Mm-hmm.
It's already coming out this year. But anyway, so it probably won't make any huge advances the first year, but they're really projecting that it's going to make huge leaps once the devs get really used to it and coding for it. He's basically saying for the first time, Microsoft is going to have the most powerful gaming system on the market, and they're excited to see what's going to happen. And I'm really hoping that they don't pull a blunder of some kinds and do a repeat of 2013.
Yeah. Well, that's somebody was posting. I don't know if it was in our group or if it was in the Horrible Gamers podcast Facebook group, but it was like, strategists or whatever state that the Scorpio, when it comes out, yes, it'll be the most powerful console, but it won't help Microsoft catch up in the console war, and Sony's still going to win it. And so then Sony's not even going to try to compete with them, and it's going to release a PlayStation 5 within the next 3 years or something like that. And I'm just like, okay. Thanks for your input.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, okay. I mean, if they don't want to put out a console because they've sold a bunch of PS4s, then don't put out a new console. Who cares? When they put out one, people will buy one. But like, I didn't know the Scorpio was to. I didn't know Microsoft was putting out the Scorpio to win the console war. That's the part that gets me. I didn't know Microsoft cared that much about the console war. That's why they're releasing the Scorpio, so they can beat Sony or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully that's not their motivation personally, because, doing something like that, it definitely sounds like a blunder, because
Yeah.
that's where you make poor decisions when you're reactive like that.
Yeah. We're here to beat
So,
Sony with our Scorpio $599. No.
yeah.
Premium product.
Yes. All right. Another thing that
But
came
Brian, you
out
cannot
this.
get mad when it comes out to be a very expensive piece of hardware. As Phil Spencer said it from the beginning: premium hardware.
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
I mean, I'm not
Heck, when
setting myself up for anything. I mean, they're setting themselves up for something. It's not me. I don't. If it's $299, if it's $599, if it's $999. I mean, the price they pick is the price they pick. They're picking prices that people are going to pay for, and the number of people that are going to pay for it, they'll find out whenever they pick what that is. I mean,
But,
I know it's
but
premium.
It's
I'm
not
not.
over.
I mean,
I'm hoping it's not over 500.
but
you
If it
know,
is,
when
I'm gonna have a hard time.
we've got an Xbox One S that's selling for $199 on sale right now,
mhm.
what is a premium console cost? At $400, you're double. And I mean, we, like Mark, you and I, we paid more than that for our original Xboxes,
Yeah.
our launch consoles.
I paid 400 and like 470, 400 and 449. I think's what mine was. Yeah, 449 was what I paid. I just
too. I bought an S as well. So
yeah, and it's just one of those things. I always like I say, I jokingly say that 299 type thing because I mean, really, is it going to be 299? But let's just not forget that the Xbox One released at 499 and it killed them. So that's my thing, is it can't be 499 or higher. If it's 399, then it's 399. I mean, that's better than 499, right? I mean,
I'll take it as cheap as it can be.
well,
But
me too.
and
I mean,
they can't tout it as a premium product and then come out as this at the same price.
yeah,
It's Sony. It just doesn't make any sense to come out and say we're better, but we're the same price.
right.
The price means you're the same. I mean, people, it does. You gotta. I mean, don't get me wrong. The cheaper it is,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, because I plan to buy one. I would rather pay $299 than $699. But,
Yeah.
they've been saying it's a premium console. They're saying it's going to be the fastest, most advanced piece of hardware out there. And for them to say that and hold that and to be true to it, they can't release it at the same price, because then that just throws it out the window that it's not.
Yeah.
And no company's going to take that massive a loss because of a console war. It's a fake war.
Right.
That's the thing. This whole console war thing is a fake war. It's fake news is what it is.
Yeah.
It's really irrelevant, because you look at the last few years. As long they're selling more Xbox Ones now at this time, they've sold more than they did 360s, and the 360 was a success.
Mm-hmm.
But the Xbox One is a huge success for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
They're making lots of money off of it. So that doesn't matter how much Sony makes. It doesn't mean that the Xbox One is a failure, because it's not. So they're coming out, and that's why I don't believe they're coming out with this to compete, to sell more consoles, to close the gap. I don't believe that's what this is for, and I don't think this is going to do that.
Yeah, I don't
either.
either.
It's a premium product.
Yeah, and I don't either. That's why I always, the question I always ask is like, the Scorpio, to me, is like, they are not going to call this the Xbox One something something something, because to me, and that's what I was saying about, like, they're going to start their numbers over at 1, because they don't want this thing to try to seem like they're trying to catch up or close the gap or anything like that. They're putting out a new console that's backwards compatible with every Xbox One game, but and probably in the future they're going to make it where there's only Scorpio only games. But it's just one of those things. But yeah, I agree. Yes, and I'm with you. Like, we all want it to be as cheap as it can be. We just don't want them also to make a mistake like they did before, which their mistake was $499.
Well, here's another thought too, and
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe not directly comparable, but I think it's a good point. Yoda 720 in the chat says Nintendo Switch is 299. You know, and that's like at the box with no game. It doesn't, and there's other stuff you need to buy, like to really get the full system. That's $300 right there, and that's not HD and 4K and all this fancy stuff and VR and and that thing's gonna be
Yeah.
$300.
And
So
and
that
and
is a console launching this year. That's a comparable one
yeah, launches
in
on
that aspect.
yeah, launches on the 3rd of March, and we'll see how long that 299 mark sticks, because and let's also remember it's Nintendo. And and
Which
and,
means the price will stay.
yeah, and Japanese companies always have a tendency of like overpricing their products when it comes to things. Um, and the only reason why Sony didn't do it last time is because Microsoft went first at E3.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'm telling you, that's why theirs was that way. But no, I mean, we'll find out a lot at E3, and we're all in agreement that the least amount the better. And and most people I hear talk about at work and stuff, because I always throw out the 299, they all think I'm crazy. Is they all say 399. So, and one person said, at the most they're going to be able to do is 449. And I think they're basing a lot of their stuff like off PC components. Like, a 1070 graphics card is low 400s right now. That plays every game, 4K, native. It's just like all those things that the Scorpio is touting is $400 just for the graphics card, and they're not putting a 1080 in their machine, so, or a 1070 in their machine. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see. I like seeing new hardware.
I can't wait till June, man.
Yeah. So, but
And
I think we're
they
all in
better come out
agreement.
and give us all the. I hope they tell us all the details in June too.
Yeah.
I'm worried they're going to come out and say, "Oh, it's going to be available on a date," but they're still not going to give us a price.
Yeah, that's
I
bad
was thinking of
news.
this the other day. If they don't give us a price at E3, then this thing is expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's bad news if they don't do that. I do think we're all in agreement if they say $599 and $699 that they're in trouble when it comes to trying to sell those. It's like that's way too much.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I even told my wife, I was talking to her about, getting approval to buy the TV, and I'm buying the TV in prep for Scorpio. I just don't want to buy the console and the TV at the same time, you know. But I even told her, I said, if the console costs more than 500, I'm gonna have a problem. Just myself rationalizing that money. I'm in my mind, I'm okay up to 500. I don't mind spending 500 for it. Anything above that is going to be really hard for me to uh, come to grips with
right.
when it simply is a replacement for the other two Xbox Ones I already have.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just like it's like an iPhone. I've got the what do I have here? I don't even know. 6S. I don't have the 7. And and then you look at the difference between a 5 and a 7. They're really on your day-to-day use, you don't even know the difference.
Nope. Yeah, you're right.
People are spending $600-700 every year to get the new one, but
Right.
it doesn't really do anything different. That's why I'm like, I already know. Yeah, I might dabble in the VR because I have it, but it depends on the cost again. And if what the headsets are going to cost, and is Scorpio going to come with a headset, or what's the capabilities of it going to be? But I want to be prepared to have. If I'm going to go and buy a third console, even like my S, I couldn't take advantage of the HDR and the 4K until now. So I bought the console and really couldn't even take advantage of the stuff.
Yeah.
So
What?
I don't want to buy another one and still don't even have the right TV. So that's why I'm justifying it. But again, more than $500 for a Scorpio, it's gonna create me a big issue. So.
Yeah. What they should do is they should come out on E3 and say, okay, you got the Xbox One S, it is, $279. You got the PS4, it's $279. You get the PS4 Pro, it's $399. You got the Scorpio, it's $398. and just then Sony will come out and be like, well, we're dropping the price of the PS4 to $299, and then Microsoft comes back and says we're dropping the price of the Scorpio to $298. Like we'll show them. And my two, like I said before, it's like my $299 price. Like I don't know if I told you guys, like listening to other podcasts and stuff, like Microsoft has billions of dollars like in the bank. Everybody talks about Nintendo. Like Nintendo flopped with their latest console. But they have so much money in the bank because of the Wii that they could flop a couple times, Now with the Switch, it's questionable if they flop this time what will happen, but Microsoft has far more money than Sony does. And because a lot of PlayStation money has to keep the rest of Sony, above water. If you ask me, like they should split out.
Isn't that like their only profitable?
Yes. Yes.
Division now.
Yep. Yeah. Sony PlayStation should break off to their own company called PlayStation, and just
and Sony will tank.
Yeah, and Sony will go bye at that point. And yes, Gunny, Apple has a ton of money. But that's where that thing comes from, is Microsoft has so much money. Do they need to profit off of the hardware of Scorpio, or do they sell it at a loss to pump out more games and more games and more games, and sell more games and controllers and things like that. That's the thought behind it, is like if you sell it at $4.99 and you're making a $10 profit and you sell 5 million of them, or you sell it at no profit for whatever it is and you sell 50 million of it, you're going to make more money off those 50 million than anything else. But that's kind of their thing, is like, what was was it $1 billion price tag they wrote off for the 3 red lights issue? Just for support? It was a lot,
something like that.
Yeah. It was some crazy amount of money. They just write a check and out it goes. It's like, why not take a massive loss, or take a loss? If you're going to take a $50 million loss, then take a $50 million loss. Make your customers happy. Recoup it somewhere else. But, yeah, but we can move forward.
To give you a little bit of perspective on like how much Microsoft makes, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So for their fiscal year 17 Q2, which just ended in December. So for 3 months prior to that, their earnings were about $24 billion.
That's what they made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for a quarter.
Yeah.
So even like a 1 billion write-off, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
They just, it's a write-off.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Bye-bye.
like, and I'm reading the comments, like, you're right, guys, like, they don't have to sell it at a loss, and I'm not saying sell it at a loss. I'm just saying don't try to make a profit off of it.
Yeah.
Because if it costs, okay, for example, what do you think it costs to make an Xbox One S? What do you think it costs Microsoft to make an Xbox One S? If they're selling it for $200 right now on sale, if they're selling it for $299 or $279, what do you think it costs them? $100 to make one?
No, there's a company that actually, what the heck? They tear equipment down.
Yeah.
And then they price out all the components.
Okay. $12 per run. Keep it cool. Well, they break them down. They do. Yes, they price out the components, but that's not at a mass. A mass purchase.
Yeah.
Like, if a component costs $1, Microsoft buys so many of them, they're buying them for 3 cents a piece. You know what I mean? So, but let's just say it costs Microsoft right now $200 to make an Xbox One S, and they sell it for $279. They're profiting $79. Well, let's say the Scorpio, say when it comes around, it costs $300 to make, then sell the thing at $300. Like, don't try to make a profit right off the bat. Just get your consoles out there, and then pump out games to do that. But yes, mass purchasing is what will get you from your dollar per component to 3 cents per component. But a teardown of the new console found the 2 terabyte Xbox One S cost Microsoft an estimate $324 to build.
Yeah.
While it retails for $399. So, and that was on August 8th, 2016. So there you go. Like the Xbox One S, the 2 terabyte version, they were profiting, $75. So that's all.
The only thing about this stuff is that, you, as a manufacturer, you have your hardware cost. I mean, it's a real cost that you have to pay to produce the product. Whatever you sell it for, however, like if it's still, and I doubt it is, but if it's still $324 for materials and they call it conversion costs, which is the whole assembly, insertion, testing, and all that good stuff. If it's $324 total for that, and you think about it, like right now they're selling Xbox One S's for $199 with the whole bundle. I think comes with a game or two or whatnot. If it's a loss of $125, let's say, per Xbox, you figure somebody's going to get Xbox Live, which now you're making money back, and they're going to start buying games, which you make money back. Technically, you will recoup your loss. It just depends on how long it'll take.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and with your saying their quarter, like Mark, you were away at the time, but Rob looked up like last quarter, Microsoft made $24 billion. It's crazy.
In 3 months.
In 3 months.
That's because they didn't give it away.
Right.
It doesn't. They still have shareholders to answer to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and that's Microsoft as a
they're not in the business of giving everything away.
Yeah, and that's Microsoft as a company, as a corporation. That's not just the Xbox division.
His Xbox division that's a small component of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move forward.
All right. So I got a couple more things.
Oh, nope. You got a couple more things.
Yeah, a couple more things. So achievements got decimal level precision recently. So when an achievement...
Yes, they did. I noticed. Sorry.
Yeah. When achievements show you like the rarity of the achievement, basically how many people got it, etc. Now it goes down to the decimal level, so it's not rounded or clipped off or however they did it before. So now you know more exactly how it was done.
Dude, I got one the other day in Sniper Elite 4, and it was like the rarity came up as like less than 1%. It was like 0.04. And I was like, and I looked at that and I was like, what? It's like, was that the name of the achievement, or was that like meaning truly like less than 1% got it? And then I saw another one like that a little bit later that was like less than 1%. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool.
I rock.
I do rock.
Or if it was me getting those achievements, it would be totally an accident. You stumble upon them. So technically, with the rarity on these things, the longer a game is out, then the less rare some of them are. Technically, isn't it?
It's the more people that get it.
Play them. Right. Yeah. They're a lot more rare, like when they first come out.
Yeah. So if you want to see a lot of rare achievements, play a game to death like the first day it's out. Right. They'll all be rare. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, Phil Spencer had tweeted out some information on the JRPGs. And he said Um, he said it was great getting Final Fantasy 15. I know people want me to deliver more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in Japan next week talking with publishers, trying to get more JRPGs onto the Xbox console. Because really, there's not a whole lot of them, are
Yeah.
there?
It'd been funny if his comment was buy a PlayStation,
Yeah,
because that's where a majority of them are. I mean,
yeah,
look at the names of most of the games that are released on PlayStation week by week, and you'll tell that you know that's what they like. And of course, it's a Japanese company too, so
sure.
but they definitely do have a lot of good ones. Definitely have a lot of good
But
ones.
what's the popularity of JRPGs? Let's say in the States, though, are they as popular as they are in Japan?
Um, I think for I mean I don't know honestly, but I would say for people that are PlayStation owners, you know, you probably play a good bit of them. I mean, you
But do you play them just because of their abundance and that's what you have available?
I don't know. I mean, either that or
Yeah.
everybody just bought a PlayStation, played Destiny, and the one or two, exclusives that have come out. Because that's a
Hmm.
majority of what they have is the JRPG and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, good question. All right, so that's all I've got.
All right,
Now we can continue.
okay.
Up on.
All right, community time. Um, Voicemails, emails, and all that fun stuff. If you go to thisxboxlife.com, that is going to be your main location to get to everywhere. You can send a voicemail on the right hand side. You can contact us by clicking contact up at the top. Or if you want, you can also just email us directly, contact at thisxboxlife.com. We don't have any voicemails today, but we do have a novel from Danny Ray Jr. that I mentioned earlier, which Rob
Yes,
is going to read. Um,
yes.
and then we will go from there. But yeah, go ahead and do that first, and then we'll continue.
Okay. So Danny Ray Jr. writes in. He goes, "Hi, I haven't written in a while. I've been a little busy being a new dad and all. Congratulations
Congrats. Yep.
are in order. And all went well with the birth and everything. My baby was born December 17th, a healthy girl. And you guys were right. There is nothing quite like being a dad. And also, there's nothing quite like killing gaming time like having a child. And oh, so tired all the time. But I am not really writing to talk about that. But on the last episode, you all talked about timed exclusives on PlayStation and Xbox, and I thought I would give my opinion. And I mean, no disrespect in this, but for the most part, I disagree with you all. I don't mind them, like how Rise of the Tomb Raider was a year exclusive on an Xbox. I did not mind that, even though I have an Xbox One and 360, because I really don't have online. I chose to wait on it for my PS4, just so I can earn trophies. And with no online, I can't really do achievements and all that good stuff on Xbox One.
We need to
Yes, I
come
could
back
have.
to that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll continue.
I could have gotten a 360, but I wanted the full version, or however you say it, with all the beautiful graphics. I think it was what, definitive? So he's talking about,
Yes, I believe so.
or the yeah.
Yep.
But and I can do my achievements, trophy hunting, and trophy hunting. So I wanted the PS4 version,
Right.
and I was extremely happy. It came with all the DLC because my internet situation, I could not get that on Xbox. Now, hey, real quick, what wasn't Danny the one that had the like really low internet connection, or he had the really big data cap or something when he wrote in? I think that's what he's
I
referring
Yeah,
to here.
yeah, I
think
believe
so.
so.
And
Yeah.
this is in his thing. And don't worry, there's more to come, everybody. This is one of his points that I actually liked out of it. Like, you're right, when there's an exclusive or something like that, if it's a year long or whatever, like that, you do typically get like the Game of the Year edition or all the
which
DLC
is awesome.
for the same cost,
Mhm.
if not less. Um, for something like that. So, all
Sure. Yeah.
right, continue.
So you're right. But back to what I was saying, I don't mind the timed exclusive stuff, whether it be for our Xbox or my platform of choice, PlayStation. I know it's kind of different because I own both, but even if I only had one, I would not mind that much because it's the platform I chose. For example, if I only had Xbox, I would be a little upset that PlayStation got the Call of Duty maps first. But really, it would not affect me because I would get it with all my other Xbox gamers.
True.
And plus, one good thing about it is whoever gets it second gets the advantage of seeing reviews and stuff to see if it's really worth buying. And hopefully, they patch all the bugs out by the time the second platform gets it. But I still understand where you all are coming from. And sometimes I would just wait it out until the game of the year or complete edition comes out. But that's my opinion, and I respect your guys' opinion too. And regarding the show before last about how PS4 is outselling Xbox One in sales, I think it kind of matters, but not really. As long as Xbox keeps making the right moves, like doing what the fans want, such as backwards compatibility and games like Halo Wars 2, they will be fine. I hope Xbox is around a long time because I love long time because I love Xbox, and I did not become a Sony pony until 2013 when Xbox did the whole online thing, and they had to change that. But at the time, I had good internet, so if I was in the situation I am now with no home internet, I would not even get the Xbox One. But if it would have been the other way around, where Sony would have done the always online and Xbox was just buy your box and it works with no updates like the 360 and PS4, I would totally be quite the Xbox fanboy. But even though I am kind of a Sony fanboy, or whatever you would call it, it they make mistakes too. Just look at the PS Move and Vita TV and lots of things. And by the way, people sometimes think fancy is a negative word, but I don't consider it uh, that way.
I
Like
think
it
it's
can.
supposed to be fanboy. Actually, fanboy is a negative word. I think his autocorrect got
Oh,
on that one.
oh, but what did I say?
It does say
Oh,
fancy, but I think it's
yeah,
because a
yeah,
fanboy being a negative
yeah.
word.
I think you're right. All right. Um, and by the way, people sometimes think fanboy is a negative word, but I don't consider it that way. Like I consider you guys Xbox fanboys, except maybe Brun. I think he may be a secret PS fanboy with Xbox friends. Actually, no, Brun is a PC fanboy.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, no disrespect in that.
No, no, yeah. No.
Yeah. Someone who is a diehard any company, whether it's Sony or Microsoft, and they say they do no wrong and everything they do is perfect. I don't consider that a fanboy. I consider that a stupid person. And yes, I do mean that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree with you on that one. That's what
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
show a while back when it was just like, you guys call yourself an Xbox podcast, but you do is complain about Xbox. It's like, well, no, we'll call them out when we have to, because we're not just going to make them seem like they just do everything right, because they don't.
No.
But,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Just like the whole Xbox One launch.
Yeah.
That was a big disaster.
Yeah.
Way to go. But anyway, back to the sales thing. I think that this generation PlayStation 4 is definitely going to win, but
Yep.
maybe in like 4 or 5 years when the PS5 and hopefully a new, just as powerful Xbox comes out, PlayStation could do something stupid like what Xbox One did or what PlayStation did with the PS3, such as the $599 price tag. But I hope that the Xbox puts out a new console when PlayStation does the PS5 because competition is wonderful for everyone. If there was only one system, that would really suck. But thanks for reading this, even though I'm a Sony fanboy and you guys blocked my voicemail because I said the word Sony. He's joking with that.
Yeah.
But seriously, yeah, but seriously, wonderful podcast. And truthfully, my favorite, even though I haven't had my Xbox One hooked up in months. I'm still a fan of Xbox and a huge fan of the podcast, but I thank you guys so much for doing the podcast every week. I truly enjoy it and hearing all of your guys' opinion, even though if I sometimes disagree.
That's why they're called opinions.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
you are absolutely allowed to have your own, and if anybody tells you your opinion's stupid, then obviously they don't know what the word opinion means.
Punch him.
Yeah, so I know Mark has something. I was going to mention something to him as well. As I know the online anything. I'm curious if he's going to be getting Horizon Zero Dawn because of what I said.
Thank you.
Because what I was wondering last week. I still don't know if it's true. I didn't look it up. But if you're getting Horizon Zero Dawn, please, if you buy physical disc, might be the best thing. Let us know if that rumor thing I heard is true, which is you have to be online to play it. And I don't think that's just digital. I think that's physical as well. And I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to start rumors or say anything. I'm just curious if it's true or not because, that is something, you're right. Xbox got bashed for saying that they were going to do always online. And their always online was their whole purpose for their always online was you're going to install the disc onto your Xbox, physical or digital. You install it on your console, and they were just going to check when you got online to make sure that that's your game, and
Or that it's still your game.
Yeah, still your game, and that's why they were like, install one time only or whatever, and that way you just never had to have your disc inside the console, and then that's what was going to open up the sharing of games. Like they were going to share games between people that way, and that's why you always had to, well, here's how we share games, and you had the physical disc handing off, because I can share my game with Mark halfway across the country, or not halfway across all the way across the country.
Go all the way across the neighborhood.
Yeah, but things like that. But let me know if you're going to play Horizon Zero Dawn, because I'm curious if what they were talking about when they said that you were going to have to be online to play it. So
maybe they're going to use the power of Azure to, and Microsoft's 300,000 servers.
Yeah.
To make the game better.
Yeah.
Slight sarcasm.
But and the other thing is, I'll just say like this as far as Sony winning the console war and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about them thinking that they're going to win. We might as well always just say they won. We're putting out a new console.
There's no war.
Yeah, there's no war. It's over.
It's a fake war.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Yeah. No worries. But I mean, a lot of the stuff you said is like, you're right. When if Call of Duty maps come out a month early on the other console than the one that you have, you're right. You and your buddies, you'll all get them at the same time. You'll all enjoy them together at the same time and stuff like that. That's why, the same thing goes with, who cares if there's 50 million people online or 25 million people online? You only play with 32. And as long as you haven't played with those 32, it doesn't really matter. But what was your thing, Mark? I think it was the online trophies thing, or
yeah, I was just wondering because he said that he went with the PlayStation because read it. I can't really do achievements and all that good stuff on Xbox One. Oh, I chose to wait on it for my PS4 just so I can earn trophies, and with no online, I can't really do achievements. That doesn't make any sense, and I was wondering, is this because Microsoft just completely botched the whole message that people still today think they can't earn achievements unless they're online?
I don't know.
Because you can. You can't earn online achievements, obviously, but you wouldn't be able to do that on a PlayStation if you're not online either. You can
So,
still earn you if you are disconnected from the internet, you can still play your Xbox
mhm,
and you can still earn single player, non-multiplayer, non-online achievements.
okay. Does it just sync up when you do hook in your console?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that's what Sony does is like there's
Well,
eventually I think
Sony
you
doesn't
may
even do it automatically.
yeah I
You
think you have
have
to
to
force a
manually
sync.
sync them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they don't even do it automatically,
Okay.
which in my opinion is a pain. Like you have to go and actually initiate a sync with PSN, even though you're logged in. It doesn't. PSN is not aware of your trophies unless you synchronize them, which doesn't make any sense to me. I think that's just kind of dumb. Um,
All right.
but I hope he. My thought was, do people really believe you can't earn achievements on an Xbox unless you're connected?
I don't know.
So I don't know. That's just one to let him know you can still earn achievements.
Yeah.
So
Cool. And I mean he
but
he has both console. I mean he has both consoles, and like he's saying, I think he leans toward the uh, PlayStation
oh I
side of things, and we've always known that because I mean this isn't the first time he's written in, and it's okay. You can write in your show. And sorry, yes, we will continue to block your voicemail because
yeah, I
you
want to
mentioned
know
a
how his
website.
email got past our filters.
I don't know.
No,
And
I
yeah,
appreciate his comment. I just wanted to correct, I want to make sure we're not just, we're correcting anything that would be
yeah,
incorrect. Now, my only thought on this is when the Xbox One originally released, due to the change, you did have to you did have to connect your box online
at
to
least
get the
once.
update
Yeah, at least once.
at least one time.
Yeah.
So that could be what he's referring to, but the way he says it, you can't earn achievements offline. That is incorrect. That's all I'm saying. But no, I appreciate him writing in and listening to us, even though he's a PlayStation guy. That's cool. I mean, I
Yeah,
have no
definitely.
problem with that. I was telling Cubicle in the chat earlier, man, I wish I was watching the video I was watching for my TV. The guy was on a PS4 and he had Uncharted 4 in the background. That's the game he was in when he was
Hmm.
doing all the changes for and then he switched over to Watch Dogs 2 and stuff. But I'm just like, man, I wish I could play Uncharted
I was
4.
gonna say
I
you
love
played
the
the first
Uncharted
three.
series.
Yeah,
I bought a PlayStation 3. I still have it. It's sitting in a box in a closet, but I bought it and I played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3.
yeah,
And those are the only games I ever played on the system. But
yeah.
I would
Horizon.
love to have Uncharted 4.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. Uh, looks phenomenal. And actually, somebody mentioned it in our chat somewhere. I'll have to find it. But the game from E3, from the Sony press conference from E3, that was just like, all right, I want that game, was Detroit. And somebody mentioned it somewhere in our chat. I can't remember where it was at, but that game there, like, is something that I really want to play. Really, really want to play. So, but yeah. No, Danny, thanks for the email, man. We do appreciate it. So, and yes, you're allowed to disagree. That's what I disagree with our opinions and write emails and stuff. That's what sparks conversation. Makes people think a little bit. I like it. So, if only
Yeah, just
everything
because we
and
have
if
our little
everything in the world was like that.
just because we have our little show doesn't mean we're right.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. So, but very cool.
We're just
No,
three
we're
idiots
right because of our
on the
opinions, not
internet.
because of the show.
All right. Okay, so thank you for the email. And if you would like to send us a tweet or anything, like I was talking about Christoph, hey, Christoph, why don't you send a tweet about if you're into all the monitor stuff like you are TVs. Ours is thisxboxlife.com/ Twitter. We'll get you there. Our Twitter handle is thisxboxlife. Mine's BJSwick33, by the way, if anybody didn't know. I think, do you guys have Twitter handles? Wingman79, I believe.
Wingman 709, but
Yep.
I never used Twitter.
Yeah. Um, If you go to thisxboxlife.com/Facebook, you get to our Facebook group, closed group, but just request. We just kind of poke around and see who you are and accept. That's where our community pretty much discusses everything, and we have good times. So. And what's new this week, Rob?
Okay, a couple of things. First off, we have releasing on February 28th, Torment Tides of Numenera. So isn't this a follow-up for that really old school game, Torment something, something, something? It was kind of like Fallout and Baldur's Gate. Do you guys remember? Like the original Fallout was like a top-down three-quarter view. What would you call it? Role-playing game or something? No, wouldn't be a role-playing game.
A long time ago. I mean, I haven't seen
Yeah, this is PC. So yeah, you should know it, Brun.
Yeah.
It was forever ago. It was
Oh,
like
I
20
remember. I
years ago.
remember when Fallout 3 was coming out, that people were like all in an uproar that they were afraid. Oh my gosh! I just had a publisher, developer blank, who does Fallout. Bethesda. Thank you. Cheesy cow. When Bethesda got the license to do Fallout, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing a Fallout game." You guys remember how all the Fallout fans were just like, "They're gonna ruin it. It's gonna be horrible," and then it was just like, "This game's awesome." I was like, "Yeah, all right." So, but yeah, I think you can still buy the original Fallout and Fallout 2. I think I might actually own them from like Good Old Games or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I bet GOG has them. Planescape Torment. I think that was the name of the first one. So it was over 10 years ago.
Okay.
For sure. Anyway.
Anywho.
It's a classic game. And then the Numenera, that is an RPG type of system as well. So it's interesting that they're kind of joining these things together, like a role-playing game system. Anyway, next up, same date, February 28th, we have Ghostblade HD. And on March 3rd, we have two more titles. Ikimu, I think I said that properly. Ikimu Splinters of the Dark Shard. Interesting. And game off of the mobile platforms Bloons TD5, which is a tower defense style game that personally I could never get into because I didn't like the graphics on it. It just, I don't know.
I wonder if this is some of those 1,000 Xbox ID at Xbox games. And
no, I don't think so because none of these are pixel.
Oh, okay.
Pixel graphics.
Well, don't worry, none of them are in the 5 of the good ones either. So.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yep.
And then games with gold. We still have. When does the month end? What's today's date? So today's the 26th. We have a couple more days, 2 more days left in the month. On Wednesday, we do the switch into March. So we got some new titles coming in and some titles exiting out of the Games with Gold program. Xbox One, we still have Project Cars available for another 2 weeks or so. So that one, grab that one through the 15th of March. The one that is going to be making the exit is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. I've actually heard this one is actually not too bad, even though I kind of dismissed it when it first came out. But supposedly it's a pretty fun multiplayer game. Coming in on the first, Layers of Fear. So make sure to grab that one for the Xbox 360. Make sure to grab Star Wars Force Unleashed, as that one will be making its exit, its departure on the 28th. Borderlands 2 is starting up on the 1st. And also make sure to grab that one if you have an Xbox One, because this is a backwards compatibility title, as all of these Xbox 360 releases are. And then lastly, if you're going to be making any purchases on Amazon, make sure to use our affiliate link. You can find that at our website, This Xbox Life. Click the big Amazon logo at the right-hand side, or you can just go to thisxboxlife.com/Amazon. Do that every single time you make your purchases. Anytime you put something in your cart, any shopping session, whatever you want to call it, please do that. We get a teeny tiny little finder's fee for sending you their way. It does not cost you anything extra, but this is a great way to help support the show. Also, if you're on iTunes, find the podcast on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. That also really helps us out, boosts our numbers on iTunes, and then helps us become a featured podcast. And I believe that's it for the show. I don't have anything extra. How about you guys?
I do not. I'm ready for
Nope.
bed.
Yeah, all right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming out. We will see everybody next Sunday. So I'm Brun BJ Swick 33.
I'm Rob, also known as Presar. Thanks for listening, everybody.
And
I'm Mark, aka Wingman709. Take it off.
good night.